Today I'm going to be cleaning the beer lines, okay? I don't think I've shown this before because it's pretty boring, isn't it? And everybody does it anyway, right? So you don't need another person to tell you how to do it. Well, I'm going to do it because I don't really have anything else. One of the kegs of Pilsner that I brewed like months and months ago is finally kicked. And of course all the crap has come up into the beer line from the bottom of the keg. So it seems like a good opportunity to do it. I should probably pour a beer, shouldn't I, before I start cleaning the beer lines? Yeah, that would be a good idea. I always know when it's time to clean the beer lines because I don't do it every time. I mean, I don't know who does. I do it every few kegs. But when you get really foamy beers, you notice, I think there's a good chance that it's the beer lines that's doing it. Especially if the keg kicks and it's all that kind of crap there in it. I've been accidentally recording for you. I actually made a video last Sunday, a Lazy Sunday video. And it was like 35 minutes long. Don't ask me what I was talking about for 35 minutes. But I was accidentally recording in 4K as well, so I went and edited up. A little bit of editing, not much. Last Sunday, and then started encoding it. Didn't realise I'd even done it in 4K, to be honest. And then it wasn't even halfway through. It was like midnight. I was like, this is so bad. So I just binned it, and it's all been deleted. So it'll never be seen, ever. Right, let's do this. I'm feeling very light that. We'll maybe do that one at the end because by the time I get through this, it'll probably kick on me. So we use purple beer line cleaner. Okay, this is the stuff I use here. What is that? Clean All purple beer line cleaner. So it's nothing fancy. It's nothing fancy. So I went for this. So this is mine. It's only 1 litre, okay? And the point of that is so it's easy to store. So I don't want a big mad 5 litre thing that you hammer down on. No, that's not really good at all. And it's literally that with a bit of siphon tube and a Jubilee clip and then a carbonation cap on the end. And that's it. In fact, it's got a carbonation cap and a bit of beer line just to keep it in place. Can you see that? So that's the way we're sorted. Now, my kegs are a mix of ball lock and pin lock. Okay, so what that means is the carbonation I've got on that cap on that is a ball lock. So basically means that I need to take this off and connect it up. So they get washed separately, okay, and sanitized. And then that goes on to that. Just screws on. It's pretty handy, like. It's not a big deal. And that is going number 1. Hang that there over that keg. And then we get our fermenter. There. In fact, let's use a different fermenter. Say a fermenter, like, but this is just basically a bottle. This is why I haven't thrown them out, because these are incredibly handy. These old plastic buckets. Cap off, and then we'll run through. Okay. There it comes. See that? So all we're doing is running the beer or the line cleaner through until it starts. It should come out green at some point. That's still all the beer probably. Okay, that's all coming through now. And then when we get it, we just leave it for 30 minutes. And then we get number 2 in. Now, to be fair, I don't think number 2 has really been used because I've been drinking out of number 1. Number 2 is the second Pilsner. but I think we'll do it anyway. Okay. Run out all the beer, whatever's in there to begin with. It is a necessary evil, this. If your beer's tasting a bit weird as well too, that's maybe a sign that you need to clean your beer lines. I'll say I don't clean them all the time. If I've got a dark beer on, I will. Or I'll just switch them out. Because I've got spare beer lines over there that I use with the Firmzilla. Okay, number 3, which is the one I'm drinking off actually. So let's go to number 4. Which again hasn't really been used because it says on, but let's do it anyway. I can't remember if I had anything on. I don't always have stuff on the 4th keg. Mainly because it's kind of the aging area. Plus when I'm pouring, I can't actually keep the release on and have the thing completely closed. But then again, I don't actually leave them on anyway after the whole incident with the smoked porter. Do you remember that? I had poured myself 1 pint of it and I had a little dodgy O-ring. Went in back in about 20-30 minutes later for the 2nd pint and I couldn't get anything poured, and the reason was because I looked, when I opened it up, it was like, and the whole thing had basically filled up into the keezer. Actually, when I say that, look. Now that was about a year ago. You see that black trickly type of stuff coming out? That is still a porter that's stuck in the hole in that corner. That I've never really cleaned because I've never really had the chance to. Because it's never been off. Because there's beer in it all the time. I mean, there's literally beer in it. Look at that down there. So yeah, it just comes out every now and it oozes out every now and again. Like it's alive. So which is kind of disgusting. But yeah, that was throwing beer everywhere. So yeah, that is some effort for that still to be in there after all this time. 'Cause that was like at least a year ago, over a year ago, I think. Maybe 2 years, I don't know. But yeah, what an amazing beer that was. I'm definitely gonna have to brew it again. Definitely. For anyone that doesn't like, I know smoked beers are not everyone's cup of tea, whatever, but that is the kind of gateway into smoked beers, I think. It's kind of like a Baltic porter, robust porter, that type of thing. Hear the rain on? It's another thing, I'll maybe show you that now. So yeah, I painted the floor in the garage, right? As you know, I'll probably show you that as well. And I painted in here. Okay, there's the floor in there. And do you remember I was telling you about anytime it like rains heavy, it like leaks here under the door, leaks over there, and there's a bit there that it's not leaking at the minute because I got something on the outside, but it's been raining solidly all day Friday and all day today. It's not leaking. That whole mat is really dry, so that seems to have resolved itself amazingly. So then this is the floor in here, which we did paint. So I basically took everything out of here, dumped it in there, did that first, took everything out of here, including that, dumped it out. Funnily enough, I had to actually clean the walls because it was like black beer. I think maybe it was from bottling the Imperial Stout, I seem to recall. But yeah, there was like black kind of dark beer marks all over the walls, which yeah. And then yeah, over here as well too, everything came out, even the crappy bit there, which is still looking a bit crappy, like if we look up close, but it's not too bad. I mean, I could have cleaned that up, but I was time crunched, let's say that. But yeah, all looking pretty good, and all sorted and ready for winter. Excellent. Right, let's get a top up with this, and then we'll clean the beer lines, will we? So how are you doing? Alright. Oh, it's kicked! It's kicked! It's actually kicked! It's kicked on camera! I mean, that's handy, isn't it? That is handy. Okay. A little moment of history there. Never to be repeated. That keg is kicked on camera. So I could probably take, because that one's empty, I could probably clean down the bottom there. Still not clean the hole with the black mess, but someday. So one little thing about what happened when I took everything out of here, because there's only 2 plugs in there, right? So I had one on like a reel. I have this kind of extension lead reel. It's rubbish because it's got one of those knockoff things. I think is it 2.5? I can't remember what the kind of limit is, but yeah. So I had everything plugged in. I had one of the fridges into the wall, and then everything else, including the freezer, into that kind of, because 4 plugs on it. I thought nothing of it because it's there's not like high wattage stuff like with fridges and freezers even, is there? So it should be alright. And then when I was moving the freezer back, my foot was wet as I was moving. I was like, why is going on here? Have I done something? Have I like pierced something and something's leaking? And then I opened the freezer and the smell of rotten food hit me. All the hops and all were in that freezer as well too. And I was just like, oh my god. I had to then chuck out all the food. Again, this is the second time that's happened now. The first time was my fault, to be fair. But I don't know what happened that time. And everything that I had in there wasn't just like cheap stuff, it was like big cuts of meat that I put on the Kamado. Bloody big tomahawk steak, it was like about that size, about that thick. Just, oh god, it's pork shoulder, pork loin, steaks, everything. Just, oh, rack of ribs. All had to be chucked. So, yeah, that wasn't very clever. With hindsight, I clearly should have put the freezer into the wall and then everything else into the little extension lead. But you know, it's too late now, isn't it? That's the catchphrase of this channel. It's too late now. Captain Hindsight, not your service. The purple line stuff, it is pretty good. You get that big mad 5 litre thing, but it's like, because it's like 50 mils for every like 5 litres, so that's only a litre, so it's like 5 mils at a time I'm using every time I fill that up. So it's not an awful lot when you get 5 litres. And I think there's a use by date on it as well. Should be line cleaner and all those, and it's just a waiting game now, so half an hour usually, and then we'll flush it all through with more line cleaner. So I shall come back in 30 minutes and yeah, I should be properly drunk by then. So in the meantime, I've been cleaning those quick releases over there while you're watching the football. Watching the mighty Everton, the once mighty Everton, hang on to a 0-0 against Arsenal. Things are grim. Things are grim. Anyway, let's not go there. Put it on, run it through, and then hopefully it should go purple at some point. That's kind of the idea. Probably do a clean them tops as well, you know. Now that I see them. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. It's clearly green. It means it's dirty. And it should, in theory, go purple after a while. So when it goes purple, I think I'll come back. Yeah, let's give it a check. It's been run like a full litre through. Oh yeah, that looks purple to me, look. That looks purple, yeah. Okay, so that's it clean. We will now run Star Sand through that after I get the rest of them done, obviously. Okay, so this is the second one. Look, it's not even that far away from the first one. That's purple. So the difference between those two is pretty extreme. I reckon this one should be the same as that one, and then that one will be the same as that one. That's what I'm banking on. Okay, to wrap that up then. So I filled this with Star Sand and just run it through all 4 lines. Didn't necessarily need to run the entire litre of Star Sand through, but I did anyway, just to use up that stuff. It's old Star Sand, so I do reuse it a few times and then just get rid of it. So all that was left, we should have 4 very clean lines, and all there is left is to, let's pour off the first of the Star Sand, this one, and then let's get a pint. So I'm watching the match, so having a couple of drinks, watching the match. Took about an hour, and Everton are still holding on for a glorious 0-0 here against the mighty Arsenal, the once mighty Everton against the mighty Arsenal. So yeah, all is good, and I'm gonna pour myself off a beer to toast you with, because I can't go without toasting you, you know. Just wish it was faster pouring. Be with you in a minute. Hold on. Anytime now. Anytime now. Okay, so there it is. Super clear lines, super clear beer. You know. So that is my process for cleaning the beer lines. Obviously I need to clean the tops as well at some point. Not necessarily tonight, I don't think, because I'm half cut already, and I might go into the house and have another couple of pints. It being a Sunday and all, so cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Let's taste it. Tastes fantastic. Cheers. Arsenal have just scored. Mother